Day one of the Think Edu Conclave, organized by the New Indian Express, brought to the fore a kaleidoscope of views on India's education sector.
Many women who were ever given a chance have always excelled.
Day two started with a focus on how education could empower women and threaten class and caste.
In 1843, an American author had said, "If you educate a woman, you educate a nation." In 1951, female literacy rate was 8.8%. In 2011, female literacy is 65%. So there has been a great improvement, there is change happening. But the change is not enough. And it's not enough because still this domain is run by a mindset that is patriarchal, that is in some sense misogynist, some sense male-oriented.
In Western countries, feudal system was destroyed totally and destroyed by the emerging capitalist system. In our country, which contributes prevailing situation. Even today, we have capitalist system. Education empowers women, but need to be orient itself towards an ideology for changing the system.
The content is not basically about if the girls can do anything or not, do they have talent or not, can they prove themselves, or will they be subject to discrimination. It's not about that. It is about, are we giving them a chance or not?
Beyond the hardcore of the education establishment, the formal establishment, we need to create the environment, we need to create the institutions, we need to change people's minds and hearts to make these changes possible.
I will not say that educating women means threatening class and caste. I think for too long in our country, a fear psychosis has been created that if you educate a woman, she will challenge social order. What is also interesting is when you define literacy, what is literacy to people? K, Kh, G, G, A, B, C, D. अपनी भाषा में अक्षर लिखना, उसे बोलना और लोगों तक अपनी बात को पहुंचाना. But today if you look at secondary level education in our country, you find that 71% tribal girls drop out of school. 54% Dalit girls drop out of school. And what is the first reason for making a girl drop out of school? घर का काम कौन करेगा?
By covering a syllabus called leadership, you do not discover the leader. Produce leaders.
Can leaders of tomorrow be shaped in the classroom? Eminent educationists and industrialists stressed on the need for teaching leadership and ethics in our institutions.
Ethics and leadership are both inside out and intentional processes. You cannot really encompass leadership or ethics as just a systems phenomena. You have to learn to discriminate. And that art of discrimination, if you look at the Indian expression called dharma, it encompasses the faculty of discrimination. And I think dharma is not something that resides only in the formal space. Dharma is widely distributed. People with not so great education can be really ethical, can be really a leader.
If you're looking at good leadership with altruism and ethics and a bias to action built in, this relationship, this dimension has to be fostered, nurtured, guided, mentored from the school level. It is from here that you are able to mold character, from here that you are able to inject changes in the attitude.
Leadership creates wealth. And what does ethics do? Ethics ensures it is sustainable. It's urgent thing that as policy regulators and makers to come together and think along with the employers to think as to how we should change the education system, thereby we produce leaders with ethics and create wealth for India and be a superpower in the world.
This country has a great future. We talk about the demographic dividend because we are one of the youngest nations of the world, and this youth should be preserved. It is important that we should teach this subject to the students, and government should take the initiative. And the youngsters must know who are our leaders and who should be our leader.
We don't need international rankings to prove our mettle.
A panel discussion on the topic, "We don't need international rankings to prove our mettle," raised inspired optimism in the room.
In India, we have almost no comprehensive universities except some now in the private sector maybe. Most, the public sector institutions in the country have been verticalized. So you have the IITs focusing on engineering. Then you have the medical colleges, the medical universities, you have now the law universities. So there is sort of the clear policy decision is to create excellence, but in verticals. We do not have comprehensive universities.
As long as you have chosen to work within a market system, rankings do matter. Now the next question is, oh, then why do Indian institutions not rank well enough globally? I see a lot of students come in with spectacular degrees which look very good on paper, but the moment they open their mouths, you realize they're not ready to go. They are simply not ready to go. So companies, the end users, have a view that we are not creating an education institution in the company. If you are not giving me students who are ready to hit the road running in the functions that I'm hiring them for, then your institution is just not good enough for me. So, irrespective of what your rankings are, that's the final acid test.
We need to prove our mettle, and once you've proven your mettle, international rankings or national or domestic rankings are irrelevant. Pursue that excellence. Pursue that dream, pursue that desire, pursue that ambition. That is all that matters at the institution level, at an individual level, at the country level, at the state level. And rankings will follow.
They are all not done well in their exams, so they come to make movies.
Knowledge in a panel discussion titled It's Not Skills versus Intellect, Education Must Provide Both, the eminent dignitaries focused on the importance of education and discussed the need for skills to suit the requirements.
If there is any controversy in the eyes of or in the minds of the stakeholders, we educationists must reflect on it and think if we have gone wrong somewhere.
We have all gone through education systems in schools and colleges which have largely driven us on very single focus length. And today it is the most ridiculous school education system, which is commerce, biology, physics, mathematics. As if nothing else exists in the world. I mean, the whole world of liberal arts or music, dance, drama, poetry, everything is gone. It is just these three focus. And if you are not good for any of these three, go make movies.
Now we have to categorize whether education actually gives you knowledge or skill gives you knowledge. As an actor, knowledge has nothing to do with skill. As an actor, you can be the most intelligent person, but you can be the worst kind of actor. As an actor, you can be the biggest duffer on earth, but you can be a brilliant actor. Because acting has a lot to do with skills. Acting has a lot to deal with understanding human nature. Skills and an intellect are part of each other. You may not need a skill how to sort of talk about neutrons or something like that. But a carpenter needs a skill and intellect both. It's very important to have both the things together. It's very important how you teach people at your place, how you educate them and how do you give them skill.
India is supposed to skill 500 million people by 2020. Can we pull it off? Prominent policymakers presented their views on this issue.
The education and the skilling, is it to the standard that is required of industry? That is the biggest challenge. And the answer is no. There is a gap between what the industry seeks and what we are skilling. And I think that is where we have to bridge the gap in the existing institutions by skilling them up, improving the quality of the equipment, the curriculum, the faculty. The important factor is to give standards to skill sets and also to allow for lateral movement between skilling and education, so that somebody who is in education can pick up a skill set and get a qualification for it. And similarly, who is skilled can get an academic equivalent that would be recognized globally.
The numbers are very, very large, and it requires involvement from everyone involved. It requires involvement from academic institutions, it requires involvement from schools, it requires involvement from industry and civil society, because many civil society organizations also have come forward to train people. And if all these then can be coordinated through the National Skills Development Agency, through the qualification framework, so that there are some set of standards which everybody adheres to, then it is feasible. The target indeed can be achieved.